Good morning and welcome to Ellon Academy's virtual assembly on Monday the 17th of January 2022. First of all, I'm speaking to the S4, 5 and 6 pupils as you begin your second week of the January assessment block. I'm hoping that you're finding this easier than you would have maybe found a prelim diet in the traditional sense, where you were all in mass numbers in the hall or the theatre in rows and rows of desks. It feels a little bit more conducive to have these assessments within your class time. I was asked last week about study leave, and one pupil asked me why we didn't have study leave, and I think you have to trust educationalists with the benefit of our experience, particularly in light of young people not having attended school in proper during 2 lockdowns. So we feel as educationalists that you will benefit far more from the expertise of your teachers in your classrooms during your assessment block to maximise that opportunity for learning and consolidating your learning so that we best prepare you for exams in May as that is expected. However, things may change and obviously we will respond as soon as we know what is happening if there are to be changes. So I acknowledge that it's a very unsettling time for senior pupils, not knowing what the future might hold, but you know, you've been through this, you can do it, and we have every faith in you and take any support that is offered to you from staff and from your friends and family too. We're doing a bit of a push on dress code again, and that's the usual poster that reminds you what our expectations are. The main things that we're concerned about just now is some pupils not wearing their ties, which is an expectation of the dress code, and a little bit more of the white trainers creeping back in, and also some of the slogans and things that are a wee bit big or different coloured hoodies and tops, or grey trousers or bottoms, which is not acceptable. So you know what, I'm not going to go through this, but you know what our expectations are, but here's what's going to happen in the future, and your teachers are aware of this already. So, as we said, standards are slipping a bit, but we also want to acknowledge that the vast majority of you come to school wearing your uniform, your dress code, your tie, and that promotes the ethos, having a positive school identity. It helps us to spot if there's anybody on the campus or in the school that shouldn't be, and it should promote a sense of pride in the identity of your school. But there, as I said, too many young people are forgetting to wear their ties or having their ties in their bags and not putting them on, and white trainers, and after PE staying dressed in PE kits. That's not the most hygienic thing, and you would be better changing into your school clothes again. For some of the 5th and 6th year, some of this is rather disappointing because you've made a choice to return to school, so that dress code is non-negotiable because you've made the choice to come back, so in turn you should comply with our expectations. Your register teachers will continue to encourage you and support your register class with dress code, and they'll continue to acknowledge and appreciate those of you who are supporting the dress code as you should, and encouraging those who need to take a little bit more responsibility. They will also be recording a demerit for those of you who are not in dress code. Your class teachers, again, we will all encourage and support your classes to wear dress code, but after period 3, after interval, and in the afternoon during periods 5 and 6 after lunch, they will record a demerit for those who are not in dress code, because one of the things we notice is that some of you might arrive well turned out, but as the day progresses, the tie goes missing or the PE top gets left on or whatever. We're also in communication with your parents through the parents newsletter, and we are aware that some pupils leave the house, the parents will tell us, in immaculate dress code but standard slip before they arrive at school and sometimes throughout the day. So the demerits for dress code will be analysed every week, and if any one pupil is flagged up on 2 or more days, a text message will be sent home asking for your parents' support. But you need to take responsibility for your own footwear, ties and clothing, and also be careful when you're changing and not leaving stuff lying around and looking after your own belongings. Litter, I'll not apologise for speaking to you about litter, but these pictures were taken at the start of the school day yesterday or on Friday when I recorded this. And as you can see, the school is immaculate. It's spotlessly clean. There is no litter. The floors are washed. The tables and chairs are sanitised and wiped, and the school looks lovely. But as we go through the day, we constantly see litter being dropped, pupils walk away from it, which I find I just can't get my head around that, to be honest, why you would actually have the cheek to leave your litter where you've been sitting or standing or having your snack or your lunch. And what do you think happens to it? Because this is what you come into every morning. Sometimes I think, what would happen if I told the cleaners not to clean, or we didn't support you to pick up your litter? What would happen if you come in the morning to an absolute tip of a school? I just wonder how you would cope with that, because some of you have an expectation that it's somebody else's job to tidy up after you. This week we've had 2 members of the public writing letters to the school to complain about the litter on the routeway between the school and Tesco, which is usually over Boaty Tams Bridge and along the river paths up to Tesco. And that's really, really disappointing that 2 members of the public have taken the time and feel so concerned about this that they've written in, and it's really not great for our school. And it's not good for the environment either. And again, it's mindless, it's thoughtless. And I've said this to a number of pupils. What baffles me is that this is supposed to be the eco generation, and the generation that are looking to be the best ever in terms of caring for the environment. And I'll just read you some of this thing, that 80% of young people, or millennials, agree that living eco-friendly boosts quality of life. It certainly doesn't boost the quality of life in the school when we could potentially be wading in other people's rubbish. Young people desire food and beverages in sustainable packaging. That's fantastic if 69% of young people like that, but a higher percentage of young people leave that sustainable packaging lying around our school and our community. 76% of young people support brands that use sustainable practices. Again, that's all well and good, but it's no good if it's just left lying or just chucked away in the community or in our school. And 67% demand brands act responsibly towards the environment. And that percentage is very, very high. And the expectations of young people in general, that we turn our minds to being eco-friendly in terms of packaging and whatever else. But an even higher percentage of young people in this school disregard all of this and just throw it away or leave it for someone else. And one of the issues that the member of the public raised was that their dog ate something that they found, a discarded sandwich that they found, and the contents of the sandwich was quite upsetting for the dog because it made the dog very, very ill. And some of you might think, I've seen some young people laughing at these sorts of things, but I'm sure you wouldn't laugh if it was your pet that ended up in the vet having to have treatment when somebody could have put that sandwich in the bin. So it's disappointing, but I will keep pushing. These positive messages for you to look after our school, our community, and in turn looking after our planet. It's more important than ever before, so I'm asking for your support. Thank you.